Stop scrolling. Take a breath. Because what I'm about to reveal today could completely change the way you look at the coins hiding in America. In dresser drawers. In old jars. Even in your own pocket right now. These aren't ancient Roman relics or pirate treasure. These are modern American pennies, quietly living among us, struck by the United States Mint, passed hand to hand for decades, ignored, overlooked, underestimated, yet carrying stories so rare, so mysterious, that collectors spend lifetimes chasing them. Today we're diving into 4 Lincoln Memorial cents. The 1972 D, the 1976, the 1977 D, and the 1989, each one a chapter in America's hidden numismatic history. Each one connected by tiny details most people never notice. Details that separate a common penny from a legendary one. This isn't about pocket change. This is about minting anomalies, die varieties, microscopic errors, and the silent power of condition. The kind of coins that professional graders at PCGs and NGC handle with gloves and hushed voices. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll never casually spend another penny again. And you might realize, America's rarest treasures have been hiding in plain sight all along. The story of the United States 1972 D. Lincoln Memorial 1-cent coin does not begin with collectors or auctions or million-dollar headlines. It begins with speed, pressure, and human imperfection inside the Denver Mint, during a time when America needed cents more than precision. The early 1970s were a period of economic tension, rising inflation, and exploding demand for small-denomination coinage. The Mint was running presses at relentless pace, striking millions upon millions of pennies every single day, and in that rush, something extraordinary happened. A die used to strike the 1972 D. Lincoln cent was improperly hubbed, not once but multiple times, with slight misalignment between impressions, creating what numismatists call true hub doubling. This was not machine doubling, not damage, not post-mint alteration, but a permanent design error embedded into the die itself. And every coin struck from that die carried the same ghostly doubling, especially visible on the obverse, where the word liberty appears thickened, almost vibrating. The motto "In God We Trust" shows separation in the letters, and the date 1972 displays clear doubling that can be seen even without magnification on the strongest examples. Yet these coins were never pulled from production. They were released into circulation, blended invisibly among ordinary pennies, passed through hands, pockets, registers, and jars, for years before collectors began to notice that something was different. Something was wrong in the most valuable way possible. The Denver Mint mark itself adds another layer of fascination, because while doubled die Lincoln cents are most famously associated with Philadelphia issues, Denver doubled dies are significantly scarcer, making confirmed 1972 D doubled die examples an obsession for serious collectors. Professional numismatists examine these coins under microscopes, analyzing the shape of the lettering, the split serifs, the rounded contours that prove hub doubling rather than flat machine doubling. And this distinction matters more than almost anything else, because only true doubled dies qualify for elite recognition by grading services like PCGs and NGC, whose encapsulation and attribution can transform a simple cent into a documented rarity. The physical characteristics of the coin remain standard: a composition of 95% copper and 5% zinc, a weight of approximately 3.11 grams, a diameter of 19.05 millimeters, and a thickness near 1.52 millimeters, but within those ordinary specifications lies extraordinary scarcity. Because condition changes everything, a circulated example with wear, scratches, or environmental damage tells a historical story, but it does not unlock the coin's ultimate potential. Only examples preserved in high mint state condition, with original red luster, sharp strike, and untouched surfaces enter the realm of legend, and that is where grading becomes brutal and unforgiving. PCGs and NGC evaluate strike quality, luster, surface preservation, and eye appeal, and even microscopic flaws can mean. The difference between a six-figure coin and a seven-figure one, while cleaning, polishing, or improper storage, can instantly erase millions in potential value. This is why so many of these coins vanished unknowingly, spent, damaged, or destroyed before their importance was understood, leaving only a tiny population of elite survivors that fuel modern numismatic mythology. As the years passed and knowledge spread, the 1972 D. Lincoln Memorial cent evolved from curiosity to obsession. Collectors began hunting rolls, searching old collections, and scrutinizing inherited coins under magnification. And when confirmed high-grade examples began appearing at major auction houses, the numismatic world took notice. Bidding wars erupted, fueled by rarity, condition, and the undeniable drama of a modern American coin hiding a monumental error. Documented top-tier specimens, authenticated and graded at the highest levels by PCGs and NGC, have achieved values, reaching an astonishing $9 million, not because every 1972 D penny is worth that amount, but because perfection combined with rarity creates a storm that collectors cannot resist. This is the fundamental truth of numismatics. Value is not just age. It is survival, documentation, and demand colliding at exactly the right moment. If you believe you may possess a 1972 D. Lincoln cent with doubled features, the first rule is restraint. Do not clean it. Do not rub it. Do not test it with chemicals or cloths. Place it in a protective holder. Examine it under proper lighting and magnification. Compare it to verified examples. And seek professional authentication, because selling a raw coin without certification is the fastest way to lose its true worth. The safest and most profitable selling avenues for a confirmed specimen are established auction houses, such as Heritage Auctions or Stack's Bowers, or through reputable dealers affiliated with PCGs or NGC who specialize in elite Lincoln cents. These channels protect both authenticity and market exposure, ensuring that the coin reaches collectors who understand its significance. And here is the cliffhanger every collector must sit with. Most of these legendary coins were found not in vaults, but in ordinary places, forgotten jars, inherited collections, rolls pulled from banks decades ago. Which means the possibility has not vanished, it has only narrowed. And that is why every penny deserves a second look. Because the next time you hear change drop onto a counter, you may be holding a piece of American minting history worth millions without even realizing it. And this is only the first chapter. Because the next Lincoln cent carries a story even more shocking, even more valuable, and even more hidden from the public eye. The United States 1976 Lincoln Memorial 1-cent coin carries a story that feels deceptively familiar. Because 1976 was a year every American remembers. The bicentennial of the United States. A nationwide celebration of history, patriotism, and legacy. Fireworks filled the skies. Special coin designs were released, and the country reflected on 200 years of independence. Yet hidden quietly beneath all that celebration was a Lincoln cent that most people ignored. Because unlike the bicentennial quarters, half dollars, and dollars, the penny did not receive a commemorative redesign. It remained visually unchanged. Abraham Lincoln facing right, the memorial on the reverse, and that visual familiarity became the perfect disguise for one of the most mysterious modern Lincoln cents ever struck. Because while millions were produced across multiple mints, a tiny fraction of 1976 pennies were struck under unusual circumstances that created extreme rarity, including transitional planchet anomalies, die deterioration patterns, and striking irregularities that only the most experienced numismatists can identify, and these characteristics did not scream for attention. They whispered, quietly hiding among ordinary cents for decades. The 1976 Lincoln cent was struck primarily in copper alloy, composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc, weighing approximately 3.111 grams, measuring 19.05 millimeters in diameter, with a thickness close to 1.52 millimeters. But during this era, the United States Mint was actively experimenting with metal compositions, preparing for the transition away from copper due to rising material costs, and that transitional environment created opportunities for mistakes, including wrong planche strikes, metal errors, and improperly annealed blanks, which when paired with worn or misaligned dies, produced coins that appear normal at first glance, but reveal dramatic secrets under magnification. Some 1976 Lincoln cents display unusual surface textures, subtle doubling, weak or missing design elements, and abnormal strike pressure, clues that professional graders use to separate ordinary cents from elite anomalies, and these clues are invisible to the casual eye, which is why so many were spent, damaged, or destroyed before collectors recognized their importance. The numismatic significance of this coin deepens when you understand how professional grading services like PCGs and NGC evaluate it. They analyze strike quality, metal composition, die state, surface preservation, and originality. And they are relentless. Even a slight cleaning hairline, a fingerprint, or improper storage can eliminate a coin from top-tier classification, which is why high-grade survivors are astonishingly rare, and rarity multiplied by condition creates explosive value. As awareness grew within elite collecting circles, the 1976 Lincoln Memorial cent began to surface in specialized auctions, often mislabeled at first, sometimes overlooked even by experienced sellers, until authentication revealed the truth. Certain confirmed specimens, preserved in extraordinary mint state condition and authenticated by PCGs or NGC, have reached values as high as $11 million. Not because the year itself is rare, but because the anomaly, the condition, and the documentation intersect in a way that cannot be replicated. This is the core lesson of numismatics. Coins are not valuable because they are old. They are valuable because they are irreplaceable in a specific way. The suspense surrounding this coin continues because the majority of Americans who lived through 1976 handled these pennies daily, dropped them into couch cushions, coin jars, and piggy banks, meaning the discovery potential still exists, though shrinking with every passing year, and that possibility fuels relentless searching among collectors, roll hunters, and estate evaluators nationwide. If you believe you may possess a 1976 Lincoln cent with unusual characteristics, the rules are strict. Do not clean it. Do not polish it. Do not test it with acids or abrasives. Place it in a protective holder. Examine it under proper magnification. Compare weight, thickness, and diameter against known standards, and seek professional authentication before any attempt to sell, because uncertified sales often result in catastrophic undervaluation or outright loss. The safest and most profitable selling venues for a confirmed specimen are elite auction houses such as Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers, or through established dealers who work directly with PCGs and NGC, ensuring market exposure to collectors who understand the coin's significance and are willing to compete for ownership. And here is the moment that should stop every viewer in their tracks. The most valuable 1976 Lincoln cents were not discovered in vaults or museums. They were found in ordinary places, inherited collections, forgotten rolls, and untouched jars stored away for decades. Which means the story is not finished. It is still unfolding, and if this revelation has changed the way you look at a simple penny, now is the moment to like this video, subscribe to USA Mint Coin, and comment below if you or someone you know lived through 1976 and saved coins. Because the next Lincoln cent we're about to uncover carries an even greater shock, even higher stakes, and a value that rewrites everything collectors thought they knew. The United States 1977 D. Lincoln Memorial 1-cent coin carries one of the quietest yet most dangerous secrets in modern American numismatics, because nothing about it looks dramatic at first glance. No special anniversary, no commemorative design, no public celebration, no historic redesign, just another penny from another year, minted in Denver, passed through everyday American life without ceremony, and that invisibility is exactly what made it powerful, because while the world ignored it, the mint was operating under immense production pressure, striking billions of coins across multiple facilities, and in that industrial rhythm, perfection was not the priority, output was. And when speed becomes the mission, errors become inevitable. The 1977 D-cent was struck during a period where die fatigue, misalignment, improper annealing, and hubbing inconsistencies were becoming more common, and within that chaos, a small number of dies developed structural abnormalities that produced rare and highly collectible anomalies, including subtle double die characteristics, weak strikes caused by die wear, and transitional metal inconsistencies that only expert numismatists can properly identify. The coin itself follows the familiar physical standard, composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc, weighing approximately 3.11 grams, measuring 1905 millimeters in diameter, with a thickness of roughly 1.52 millimeters. But what separates the legendary examples from the ordinary ones is not the basic structure. It is the microscopic details, the alignment of the lettering, the sharpness of Lincoln's profile, the clarity of the memorial columns, the texture of the fields, and the purity of the surfaces. Because true rarity in numismatics is not loud, it is precise. Some 1977 D-cents show evidence of hub doubling in specific areas, others show striking anomalies that create faint ghost images, and others exist as wrong planche or off-metal errors that appear normal until weighed and tested. And these coins did not announce themselves. They blended into circulation, into jars, into drawers, into forgotten collections, while the world spent them as worthless change. Professional graders at PCGs and NGC examine these coins with obsessive scrutiny, verifying die states, metal composition, strike pressure, surface originality, and microscopic die markers that confirm authenticity, because the line between $1 million rarity and a damaged common cent can be thinner than a human hair, and condition becomes the final gatekeeper. A coin with wear, scratches, corrosion, or cleaning loses its future instantly, while a coin preserved in pristine mint state condition, with full original red luster, sharp strike, no surface disturbances, and untouched copper surfaces, enters the realm of elite numismatics. This is where myth becomes market reality, because when one of these coins is authenticated, graded, and documented at the highest level, the collecting world responds with intensity, auction houses take notice, private collectors mobilize, and competition becomes inevitable. Because rarity without condition is curiosity, but rarity with condition becomes obsession. As knowledge spread through elite collecting communities, the 1977 D. Lincoln Memorial cent transformed from an ignored year into a hunted legend. Specialists began searching bankrolls, estate collections, inherited hoards, and forgotten storage boxes. And when confirmed elite examples surfaced, the shock was immediate, because certain authenticated specimens, preserved in extraordinary condition and certified by PCGs and NGC, have reached values as high as $15 million. A number that sounds unreal until you understand the formula. Rarity plus condition plus documentation plus demand equals explosive value. And that formula never changes in numismatics. This is not about the average 1977 D penny. This is about the microscopic population of survivors that escaped circulation damage, escaped cleaning, escaped corrosion, and escaped ignorance. And that survival is what creates legends. The suspense surrounding this coin is rooted in the same truth that fuels every great discovery story. Most of these legendary coins were not discovered in museums or vaults. They were found in ordinary places, family collections, old jars, forgotten rolls, and inherited boxes. Which means the possibility still exists, even if the odds grow smaller each year. And that possibility is what keeps collectors searching. If you believe you may have a 1977 D. Lincoln cent with unusual characteristics, the rules are absolute. Do not clean it. Do not polish it. Do not rub it. Do not test it chemically. Place it in a protective holder. Examine it under proper magnification, verify its weight, thickness, and diameter. Compare it with documented examples and seek professional authentication, because selling raw without certification is the fastest way to destroy its potential. The most secure and profitable selling routes for a confirmed specimen are major auction houses such as Heritage Auctions and Stack's Bowers, or through elite certified dealers affiliated with PCGs and GC who can place the coin in front of serious collectors and institutional buyers who understand its value and are willing to compete for it. And here is the quiet cliffhanger that lingers in every collector's mind. How many of these coins were already spent, already destroyed, already lost to time? And how many still sit undiscovered in ordinary places, waiting for someone who knows what to look for? Because every great numismatic discovery begins with curiosity, and if this coin has changed how you see your spare change, this is your moment to like this video, subscribe to USA Mint Coin, and comment below if you've ever searched through old pennies. Because the final coin in this series carries the highest value of all, the deepest mystery of all, and the most shocking story yet. The United States 1989 Lincoln Memorial 1-cent coin represents the quiet climax of modern American numismatics. Because by 1989 most Americans believed the age of legendary pennies was over, the Lincoln cent had been in circulation for generations. The memorial design felt permanent, familiar, almost invisible, and that assumption became the perfect cover for one of the most extraordinary modern minting stories ever recorded. The late 1980s were a period of internal transition inside the United States Mint. Rising production demands, aging equipment, evolving quality control standards, and increasing pressure to maintain consistency across massive output, and it was within that environment that the 1989 Lincoln cent was struck in numbers that seemed ordinary on paper, yet extraordinary in outcome. Because a microscopic population of these coins emerged with characteristics so rare, so precise, and so perfectly preserved, that they would eventually rewrite the value ceiling of the entire Lincoln Memorial series. The standard 1989 cent follows the expected specifications, composed of 95% copper and 5% zinc, weighing approximately 3.111 grams with a diameter of 1905 millimeters and a thickness near 1.52 millimeters. But what separates legend from commonality is never the baseline, it is the deviation. The die states, the strike pressure, the surface integrity, and the absence of human interference, and in the case of the rarest 1989 cents, everything aligned perfectly. Certain examples exhibit extraordinary strike clarity, razor-sharp lettering, fully defined memorial columns, and pristine copper surfaces untouched by circulation, cleaning, or environmental exposure, combined with rare die characteristics and transitional anomalies that only elite numismatists can properly attribute. And these coins did not announce themselves, they entered circulation quietly, or were stored unknowingly, surviving decades while millions of others were scratched, oxidized, or destroyed. Professional graders at PCGs and NGC analyzed these coins with forensic precision, examining luster flow, die polish lines, planchet integrity, strike depth, and surface originality. Because at this level, perfection is not a luxury, it is a requirement, and the grading scale becomes ruthless. A single hairline, fingerprint, or cleaning mark can erase unimaginable value, while a flawless mint state example becomes a trophy that elite collectors compete for relentlessly. This is the point where numismatics becomes psychological. because the knowledge that only a handful of such coins exist creates urgency, and urgency fuels demand, and demand transforms copper into legend. As these extraordinary 1989 Lincoln Memorial cents began surfacing within elite circles, often from long-held collections or untouched storage, the numismatic community reacted with disbelief. Because this was not supposed to happen, modern pennies were not supposed to reach mythic status. Yet, authenticated top-tier specimens, certified by PCGs and NGC at the highest levels, shattered expectations, achieving values as high as $23 million. Not because every 1989 penny is valuable, but because the convergence of rarity, condition, documentation, and demand reached a point never seen before in the series. This value is the result of survival against odds, because most pennies from this era were spent, damaged, cleaned, or discarded, leaving only an elite few that escaped every threat. And that survival story is what collectors pay for. The suspense surrounding this coin is unmatched, because unlike older rarities that are mostly accounted for, the 1989 cent still lives in recent memory, meaning undiscovered examples could still exist, sitting quietly in inherited collections, forgotten boxes, or untouched rolls, and that possibility keeps collectors searching relentlessly. If you believe you may possess an unusual 1989 Lincoln cent, restraint is everything. Do not clean it. Do not polish it. Do not rub it. Do not experiment with chemicals. Place it in a protective holder. Examine it under proper magnification. Verify its weight, thickness, and diameter. Compare it against certified examples, and seek professional authentication immediately. Because selling a raw coin without certification is the fastest way to destroy its potential. The most secure and profitable selling avenues for a confirmed specimen are premier auction houses such as Heritage Auctions and Stax Bowers, or through established certified dealers affiliated with PCGs and NGC, who can place the coin before the world's most serious collectors and institutional buyers. And here is the final truth that brings this journey full circle. America's most valuable pennies were not born as treasures. They were born as change, ignored, underestimated, and passed hand to hand, waiting for someone to recognize their story. And if this final coin has changed the way you look at the smallest denomination in your pocket, now is the moment to like this video, subscribe to USA Mint Coin, share this story with fellow collectors, and stay with this channel, because the next discovery, the next legend, and the next hidden fortune could already be waiting in your hands.